Welcome back, BJ. I think it's time for us to clean house today. What do you think?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Small business owners are drowning in their own operations today. This is a big thing. Both Rich and I, in
Yeah.
1 week, both got hit by this issue.
Yeah, they owners, business owners do the work of 5 people. And
Yeah,
you know why? Because their team isn't stepping up. Their team is looking at it like, I just come to work all day and that's it. That's all I'm going to do.
and you know what's so weird? It's like you feel like these people are negotiating basic requirements. You treat the absolute minimum as a stretch goal. It's ridiculous,
Yeah.
to see what contortions owners are going through right now.
So we're going to be talking about today how to stop negotiating.
Yes, that's
Stop
over now.
negotiating with these kind of workers. We're going to set a ruthless baseline to instantly buy back your time.
Yeah. So let's do a little bit of an intro here. I'd love, Rich, if you could set the stage. Where exactly did this new standard come from?
Well, I was watching a YouTube with an interview with Tom Hanks,
Oh,
and
I
I
love
love
him.
Tom Hanks. And he was talking about he was in a stage play many years ago, and he was asked by the podcast interviewer, "Why do you think you're such an in-demand actor?" And he said, "I learned it on the stage play. The director, Dan Sullivan, got
Yeah.
us all in a group, sat us down, and this is exactly what he said. He says, you got to show up, okay? You got to show up. You have to be present. You have to be here on time. You got to know the text, know your lines, and you got to have an idea, okay, how to take this character forward, because I can't do this all by myself." And
Wow.
Tom Hanks said this, and my head exploded. I was like, "Oh my God! Every business owner needs to say this to their team."
It was, I wouldn't use the words I was complaining to Rich, but holy cow, I love this kicker because I can't do this all myself. Oh my gosh, that totally defines everybody's small business.
Yeah,
Am I right? I mean, if you drive all the ideation, all the execution, you really don't even have a team. You know what
yeah,
you have is a whole bunch of dependents. And
yeah,
that's not what you need. You hired them to take the work off of you. What is going on? Oh my
yeah.
gosh.
I'll use a term that one of my old bosses used to. You've got a bunch of diaper babies. That's what you have. You have
Yes.
dependents that that are hanging around. And what's funny is what Tom Hanks is talking about is not Hollywood magic. Okay, it's the
Right.
mechanical core of earning a paycheck every day. He realized that many years ago. I got to do these 4 things. If I'm not doing these 4 things, I'm not a good actor. And you know what? The director doesn't want me around.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not excellence. This is the baseline
Yeah.
that you can get your entire career to go from. It's the cost of admission, And now let's break the strategies down so that you can literally write these 4 things on a post-it note so you remember them daily.
So number one, let's start with the quote. And you got to show up. Okay. What does Tom Hanks mean by that? What did the director mean by that? Showing up isn't swiping your badge to get in the door. Okay. It requires, I love that. It requires actual mental bandwidth. You need to show up. You need to be present. You need to be enthusiastic.
Exactly. Passive observers in meetings are stealing company resources. They're sitting in a chair that a highly functional person could sit in.
Yeah.
And you have to be cognizant of that.
Yeah. And if they're not contributing to the outcome of the problem or the opportunity, you know what? They shouldn't even be there. Ask them to leave.
Right. And I hate to say it, but you pay for impact, not an audience. You don't pay for, If you're present and just sitting there like a log, you can't be there. Whenever I think about this, we have someone join us as an intern. You're going to die laughing. Great guy, friend of someone who I knew. He was a high school intern, but going into college. We had to literally teach him how to sit in a chair. That was his baseline. His inability, we had to have somebody go walk him into the back and say, do I need to show you how to tuck your shirt in?
Yeah.
Because that's what we do here. That's what we do. Read the room. Read the room. And every once in a while, we would be in a meeting and he'd be sitting back like this. And I'm like, you're the scribe. So we can go over that duty again. And unbelievable when you think of that's where his baseline was. By the end of the summer, man, we had him whipped into shape.
Yeah. So our action step for this one is audit your next meeting. Okay. And again, be ruthless. Dismiss anyone with nothing to say. If one person didn't contribute, have them stick around and say, why did you even come to this meeting? Well, I'm having a bad day, or I don't really know what to, you know what? You need to go home. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. PTO. See ya. That's how it's got to be. Number 2 is you've got to be there on time. Here again, I hate to bring up the intern, but he would show up a half an hour late. And I would be like, oh my God, this rule applied to him in so many ways. Lateness is an absolute thief. He is stealing money out of your pocket. You have to be not cognizant of that.
What's funny is it's really signaling that their time matters more than your time or the team's time or the business's time. When they're late, they don't really care. And you know what? That's completely unacceptable.
Right. And, we have a graduated hours. So when you join us, you look at the graduated hours and you say, I'll start at 7, I'll start at 8, I'll start at 9. But that's it. That's it. You chose it.
Yeah.
And if you can't manage that calendar, I can't manage my clients.
Yeah.
They can't manage the clients. They if they don't have respect for a deadline or respect for the company, what are they sitting in that chair for? You got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, tolerating chronic lateness endorses a culture of complete disrespect. It's like the first step to, I don't really care about you. I don't care about the company. I don't care about the people I work with. So I'm going to come in late. This reminds me of when I was in corporate. It's a technique that people use to seem more important. Like you set a meeting for 9 a.m. Everybody's in there. You've started. You're talking. It's 9:05. It's 9:10. And suddenly they come bursting in the door going, oh, guys, sorry I'm late. Oh, it was so busy. I'm busy, that kind of person. And I would stop the meeting and look at them and say, you're late. Have a seat. I would shut them up because they're there going, they're telling
that it doesn't
story.
Matter. That it doesn't matter.
I really don't care. And then after the meeting was over, I would say, don't come late to my meeting again, or I'll just disinvite you. And they would be like, you can't do that. Yeah, I can. You can't. Don't come late. Guess what? They never came late again. It's a power play. It's a power play that a lot of people use.
Yeah. I would say, Rich, if I was going to be it's 80-20 power play. The other 20, okay, there's something happened a little bit, or they were on the phone with a client, greatly important. They text one of the other, team members. The team manager raised her hand, said, Bee's just going to be 10 minutes. She's on with Nabisco, cannot do anything. And that's not late.
Yeah.
That's taking care of business.
Yeah.
And she, whoever that was, had the presence to make sure, because she cares about the other team members. I think that's a big thing about this. If you think of what could be the ultimate action step. Start the meeting on the second. Lock the door and do not open it again for latecomers.
Yeah.
This is
Don't
a
review.
very common thing.
Don't review anything. Don't go back. Like BJ, you're absolutely right. If you're late because you're doing business and you walk in the door, you knock on the door, you look and you go, sorry, I'm very sorry. And you walk to the back and you sit down. That's fine. I understand that. But it's the people that turn it into a Broadway musical when they come in I'm so busy. Oh, so anyway, that reminds me of a promo. This podcast is sponsored by New Renew Brand Marketing, a full-service agency building strong brands with clarity and vision. Their clients are reaching their potential with innovative messaging, results-driven AI research and analytics, with their audiences front and center. Don't wait. Reach out to BJ Flagg at newrenew.com today.
And this podcast is also sponsored by Rich G Business Coaching. Most business owners are exhausted from managing dependents instead of a real team. Rich's coaching practice is built to help you stop negotiating the minimums. He helps you hold the line, enforce accountability, and buy back your time. Getting ready to move up? Well, spend 20 minutes with Rich, no cost, no pitch. He will bring you 2 decades of solutions. Go to richg.com to sign up today.
So let's get back into it. Number 3 is, I love the line. You got to know the text. You got to know your lines. I love that. 0 catch-up meetings, okay?
Yeah.
0. You got to know what's going on. You can't go, what are we talking about today?
Yeah. And you know what? You can't burn 20 minutes reading facts that they already should know.
Yeah.
They should have brought that to the meeting. That's where you need to start.
And when they arrive clueless, and I really mean clueless, they outsource their preparation to you. They've handed it back to you. They've thrown the monkey on your back. You do it, not me.
Yeah. And if they haven't read the script, read the room, read the presentation, read anything, just get them off the stage. That's where they need to be. Understanding, one thing that we find really important in our company is understanding the history of our company and then understanding the history of our clients' companies. Mm-hmm. And you say to yourself, why do they really need, can they kind of get that after a while? No, they need to know our strategy, our way of working, how we work with clients, the respect we give, all of that type of stuff. And they have to be the ones to go through all the information. This is, a perfect time to say, manual, but all the information is in there, everything that they need to know. But you know what? They have to take the initiative to do it. That's how it is.
An action step for this one is, look, if an employee arrives unprepared, tell them they aren't ready and end the meeting. Say, you know what? I don't have time for this. I need you to go back, review, and then we'll set the meeting up again. And that's it. Yeah. Don't sit there, because the minute you kowtow or you give in to their lack of preparation, think of it with a director. If an actor gets on set and goes, I don't know my lines, what are they going to do?
That's all you have to do.
It's like, you know what? That's it for the day. Go back and learn your lines in your van down by the river. So
now, and you know what I think, before we leave this, because number 4 is totally great. Before we leave this thing, if you think about them being unprepared, I get concerned about what else are they unprepared about.
Yeah.
If they're going to be unprepared for the big boss, and maybe you don't have a lot of people who work at your company and they come in and they're unprepared, what else are they unprepared for?
Are they doing this with your clients too?
Yeah, that's my thought.
That's not a good
That's
thing.
my thought right there. Oh my gosh. Now, this number 4 is the one I just really think brings it home. You've got to have an idea. Okay, so finally, we're going to be separating the professionals from the order takers.
Yeah, spotting problems requires zero skill.
Yeah.
Fixing them requires skin in the game. Okay. So you could have people that are just spotting problems here, there, and everywhere, but you need to fix them. You have to have an idea. You need to come with enthusiasm, experience, knowledge, and have an idea of how to fix the problem.
And I don't want to bring up Stephen Covey one more time, but
Yeah.
begin with the end in mind. Come to me with a solution. We had a hard as nails account executive for quite a long time, and she always said, do not accept a problem without a viable solution attached.
Yeah.
If the person would say, oh my gosh, we are going to be late in delivery, we don't, and she put her hand up and she said, solution. And she stuck to it. And the person would have to say, okay, well, I thought about this. This is how I think we could get around it. I think it's going to add another 2 hours to the job, but I think we got good. Bye, go. And she got them trained to do it. Absolutely fantastic.
Your people are paid to think critically. And that's something I consistently hear from so many of my business owners. There's a lack of critical thinking, that people aren't thinking through the problem and coming up with solutions. So you need
talk
to
about that.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit more, because I think a lot of people get concerned when you say critical thinking.
Yeah, well, you need to make them do it. See, people want to be handed things easily. Okay. And I've always said too many people are either too lazy or they're afraid to come up with an idea direction. And what you need to do as a manager or a boss or the owner of the business is give the environment where your people not only aren't afraid, but actually are encouraged to come up with new ideas, but also to kick them in the butt every so often so they're not lazy. You need to make them do it.
Exactly. And a great action step for this is just refuse to answer, what should we do?
Yeah.
No. Respond with, what's your plan? What's the solution? Push it back onto them.
Yeah.
Because they actually have it. They might have not the confidence to share that with you. They might be vindictive and just not want to share stuff with you. But guess what? You have to push it back on them. And that's how it is.
It's true. So enforcing these minimums instantly builds a self-sufficient, high-performing operation. Stop acting out every part. Direct the play. Become the director. You can't do it all by yourself.
Better people, better business, better life. Want to drill that home.
Thank you to our producer, Richard Scalzo, for making us sound great. And thanks for tuning in to the best small business show.